Here we are in the New Hamburg Fire Department with four distinguished brothers. Tom Brickner from Chelsea, Jack Perusse from New Hamburg, Mark Liberman from Hughsonville, and Doug Terwillger from New Hamburg. Now, Tom, why did you join the fire department?
Why?
Yeah.
Help the community. And Chelsea was a very small community and they needed firemen.
Okay, Jack, why did you join?
Well, many years ago, my father passed away, and there was only my mother and 7 kids. So that was one of my dreams of running up the street to the fire station, and that's where it all started.
How about you, Mark?
Me was my father, my uncles were all members of Hughsonville. In 1957, there was a house fire on Old Hopewell Road right next to my house. It was my grandmother's house. She was putting kerosene in the stove and the stove exploded. My father was one of the original members of Sloper Wheeling Ambulance. They went up, got her, brought her down to the house, and she had like 85% of her body was burned. She passed away the next day. That was one of the things. And I helped the community too. Short back then.
How about you, Doug? Why did you join?
I'm the fifth generation. My great-grandfather was a member of Minnesink Hook and Ladder over in Goshen. My grandfather was a member of Young Americans in the city of Poughkeepsie back at the turn of the 20th century. My dad was a member of O.H. Booth, and then later on at New Hamburg Station 2, otherwise known as East End Engine. And I joined after I got discharged from the service. So I guess it was my turn.
That's great. Tom, when did you join? What year?
1965.
Jack?
I'm 55, within that short area.
1970.
70-71.
Okay. Tom, what was your most unique experience as a member?
It was back in the day when we had fire farms. There were 3 or 4 in the community. And I was sitting in the firehouse because I had just got out of the hospital. I had my nose operated on. And the alarm came in and I listened on the phone. And it was my parents' house. So I went right down the street with the fire truck. The hot water heater blew up. And the house was full of steam, but nobody got hurt.
How about you, Jack? What was your most unique experience?
Well, for the years that I've spent here, we had good years and bad years, and I started out as a firefighter, lieutenant, then I went to captain, then went to assistant chief, and went to chief. Then I figured I had enough of it for a while. I stayed as a driver.
Don't forget Commissioner, Jack.
Pardon me?
You were Commissioner too.
Yeah, well, we'll get to that. So we stayed around about 2 years. We didn't do much. Actively, I was here all the time, but I didn't. Firefighting, I took care of the apparatus, and that was it. And also, I ended up as a commissioner, chairman of the Board of Fire Commissioners with New Hamburg Fire District. And that went on for a good many years, and then I finished up my retirement in Trap Rock, and I came down here, and I was an engineer at Station 1 and Station 2 at the time. And then just about time for me, a couple of years ago, I packed everything in. I figured enough is enough.
Mm-hmm. How about you, Mark? What was your most unique experience?
Home one night about 11:30. I lived down by Old Hopewell Road by the firehouse. I get toned out for a possible structure fire at NNS Plumbing Supply on 9. I got to the firehouse, got in the old engine 2, driver alone, took off and got into the scene and hit 9 Old Hopewell Road and looked down towards Fishkill, and the sky was just red. And I pulled up on that with maybe 3 or 4 guys, and we were there for like 8 days, holding the scene. It was a $9 million fire.
Wow. What burnt?
The whole store.
Yeah.
They even brought the fire investigation team over from Puerto Rico to the hotel fire. It was weird because the more water you put on it, the hotter it burned. You couldn't put it out. And we had a top mount pump on engine 2. I'm on the pump panel trying to dive off because all the water heaters are on display in the display room were going 80 feet in the air. And they determined it was 99.9% arson with 9 points of origin with a magnesium-based accelerant.
Amazing. How about you, Doug?
My most memorable experience is we went mutual aid to a car into a house to Arlington. We got there and there was a raised ranch, and the downstairs bedroom windows were actually ground level. A car came in, went into the house. So we were in charge of going in there. We had to take out interior walls to give them room to work on the patient. As I walked in, we grabbed our Sawzall and our hand tools and stuff. As I walked in, there was a car that came through the window. Underneath the front bumper of that car was a bed like this. Inside, in that bed was a child. It was a kid. He was about 14 years old or so. And what we had to do, we had to remove all the walls, we had to stabilize the car, and then take the bed, drop it down, and pull the kid out. With of course, Arlington was leading the charge on that one. Our job was making room for him with the demoing walls and stuff. The kid lived to tell the story. That was probably the most memorable I can think of, and unusual.
What a dream, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, Tom, what was the biggest fire you ever fought?
The biggest fire was down where the nursing home is now. I think it was, what the hell was that called? That big motel behind, on Dogwood Lane. That was a big resort at one time. And that was, I believe, in the early 70s. And we were there for at least 2 days.
How about you, Jack? What was the biggest fire you fought?
One of the big fires we did have was up at State Hospital, Hudson River Psychiatric Center. And I spent, myself, I was on a pump for 9 hours. And that was quite a fire. And there are so many numerous fires we've gone to over the years in the city of Poughkeepsie, and we've been to Wapping, just to use, for mutual aid, Chelsea, and so many fires that we had. That one there, I remember that because it was a humongous fire. So,
that's great. How about you, Mark? What was your biggest fire you fought?
I had an NNS plumbing supply back in the late 80s. That was one of them, but the second biggest one was mutual aid to Wappingers Falls, the village, when the bleachery went on fire. The last, most recent one.
Mm-hmm.
NNS fire, I was on a pump panel, like Jack, that big fire, 5 hours I was on the pump panel on that one. I had our 4511 feeding Wappingers truck. That fire was about 3 hours on the pump panel on that one.
How about you, Doug?
I don't know about the biggest, as Jack said. There's many, but to me the most important one that I went to was somewhere between 1980 and 83. We got called mutual aid on a snowy night to the Roosevelt Mansion fire. And we went up there, we helped out with we went up with the rescue truck, we helped with salvage, and it was an honor to me to be with brothers from other departments to try to salvage whatever important historic artifacts there were in that house. And I saw a lot of stuff, and I saw a lot of stuff get saved too. So for me, that was again, it may not have been the biggest, but it was definitely the most impressive and the most humbling.
And do they give great thanks for saving a lot of their stuff?
They did. They did.
Okay, Tom, what was the most serious incident you participated in?
The most serious one, and the one that really hit me, was that we had a big fire in Beacon. I believe it was the night before New Year's, and 2 young boys died in that fire. And their parents were in a bar across the street. And that really struck me.
I heard that similar story like that from in Beacon, Beekman, from Kenny Mallon, on Christmas Eve, where their parents were across the street. Okay, Jack, what was the most serious incident you participated in?
Well, hard to say, but really, we've had auto accidents on Route 9, and when it started getting bad up there, and we had incidents where subjects were killed, and we was nothing. It wasn't a good sight. I was a chief at the time, and it wasn't a good sight to see these things. And but numerous parts of this fire district we went to that were rough. I can't give you exact figure on it because there was so many.
I hear you,
It was 63 years I spent time here. And
Just a tad, right?
had my time.
How about you, Mark? What was the most serious incident you participated in?
I would say late 70s on a mobile home fire over off Ketchumtown Road. And it came in as a possible entrapment, mother, 2 kids. And we got the fire out and we found them in the back corner. They were both dead.
Doug?
Again, like what Jack said, we've had more than a few. The one that sticks out in my mind, again, was another mutual aid call. It was a car underneath the overpass on Route 9. A mother and 3 kids got killed in that auto accident. What had happened is they just resurfaced Route 9, and they found out the type of stone that they used made the road extremely slippery in wet weather. And these people, they slid, skidded, and crashed. And like I say, it was a mother and I want to say 3 kids.
Oh, how horrible. Okay, Tom, what is the biggest difference you've seen in the department from when you joined, just think about when you joined, until today?
The biggest difference today is the brotherhood. There is no more brotherhood. Back in the day, we were all active firemen. We had a job to do. We did the job. Then we had a lot of fun together. We played ball. We played pool. We did a lot of things. Today, it's nothing like that. And then, of course, now you got a retirement system, and it's
Hello,
not
sir.
like it's a volunteer thing anymore. That's my personal take on it.
How about you, Jack? What is the biggest difference you've seen in the fire department from when you joined?
Well, when I first
What's that?
joined, it was, the camaraderie was great. And the station was in Point Street in New Hamburg. And I lived right down the street, and all you would hear was a siren, and you run like a bat out of heck up the street to see what's going on. And there was a woman standing there telling you right where to go, and it was great. And then we got to the Plectron system, I believe it was 1963, and it turned out good. We've had it for years, and it's still great. And I love doing what I was doing. I had a lot of ambition, and as years go by, slowly but surely, your ambition dies down, which is normal. for anyone.
That's for sure.
Thank you.
How about you, Mark? What's the biggest difference you've seen in the fire department from when you joined until today?
The volunteer status, just like Tom and Jack hit on, also the camaraderie. Remember, we used to have events at the firehouse all the time. 50, 60 members, have dinners, parties, dances at the firehouse, 200 clubs, dinners. Families would just get together, hang around. The kids would come in, hang around, bazaars, baseball, bowling leagues. There's none of that anymore.
Wow. Now they do videos, huh?
Yeah, that's about it.
Video games. How about you, Doug? What's the biggest difference you've seen in the fire department from when you joined until today?
We went from gasoline-powered engines and equipment to diesel. When we first joined, I remember the chances that we used to take. We would jump on the back step. There would be a bar along the back step. You wrap one arm underneath that bar, and you would put your. They didn't have turnout pants. You'd be putting on your boots and your coat and your helmet on the back step as you're going down the road. You know, I think look back at that and I was like, man, the risk that we used to take. You know, it's all air conditioned 8-man cabs and so forth, and that's where I have seen a change. I do see a lower attendance and manpower as well, and it's unfortunate. So many people move into this area where we've turned into a community of commuters. And these commuters, they come out of other areas where they just assume that it's entirely paid staffing and such. They have no idea.
Like the city, right?
Right, exactly.
Did you ever fall off the back step?
I never fell off.
We had one firefighter fall off coming out of Main Street in Hamburg, and he took a header. He was banged up for quite a while.
How about you, Tom? Did you ever ride the back step?
We had an old fire truck. It was a Ford, and they'd ride the back. And we got a big hill going out of Chelsea, and the guys get off the back and run to the top of the hill, beat the fire truck, and then get back on.
They didn't have to push it?
The buzzer on the back too. One to stop.
Right.
That's right.
How about you, Jack? Did you ever ride the back step?
Oh, yes. Yes, sir.
How about you, Mark? You ever ride the back step?
Yeah, because if you needed to contact the driver, there's no portables back then. You just have to hit the buzzer on the back step, and that would activate a bell inside the cab.
What was always helpful with that is on the left-hand side, you'd have your hard suction. And if you're on the back step, we found if you hollered through the hard suction,
he might hear you.
Yeah, the driver just might hear you,
That's funny. Okay, Tom, what difference have you seen in the equipment during your membership? Think back when you first joined, what was the equipment like compared to today?
We had, we didn't have the tax money we have today. We had old equipment, but we had good equipment. We kept it up, and now new fire equipment is out of sight. I mean, we're looking into getting a new fire truck right now. You're talking $700,000, $800,000 today compared to $300,000 5 years ago.
200 or 100, right? How about you, Jack? What's the difference you have?
Apparatus. For years, we had 4.5-inch suction on your intakes of your apparatus, which was X amount of gallons of water coming out. And as years went by, we got growing up, we got smart, we went to 6-inch, but the hydrants are still 4.5-inch hydrants, a lot of them. But in Dutchess County, I believe that we have one of the better water systems in the county. Taking a hydrant that's 100 feet away and taking another one that's 250 feet away. It's brought us a lot of, we've made good progress with it.
Okay, Mark?
Oh, I would say the apparatus. When I first started, the first truck I drove was our old engine one. It was a 1947 Ford, and a straight 5-speed with no synchros.
Ladder was
clutch.
The
The thing pumped and forth. You had to put the clutch switch. The clutch would get down, hook it to the seat, and then get out and try to maneuver that clutch lever on the side without grinding the hell out of it.